What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And of course, we've got the brand new KIZUNA class that's just dropped, and we're going to have the 10-star video right here. Now, the super boss, of course, is a bit of a tricky one. Honestly, I really don't know how a lot of people are going to deal with it, and I feel like a lot of people are probably going to take this KIZUNA as like more of a rest period where, you know, people are probably just going to do the bare minimum just due to the pure fact that this super boss looks utterly ridiculous. But whatever, we'll talk about that later. But let's talk about the 10-star difficulty here. The 10-star one is actually like not as tricky. You can see that because of this first boss, and after you kill stage 2, they end up doing a captain switch, which is the sole reason why Fujitora is on the team, just to kind of negate that effect, because the opponent's captain switch is a random switch with one of our crewmates. So because we just don't want to deal with a random swap, we have Fujitora here, which allows us to kind of disregard that switching effect altogether. Highly suggest to use Big Mom and Katakuri for the friend captain for this one. Helps out a lot. Using those assembler slots is very, very powerful. And then another thing is that the enemy will go ahead and I believe they do a death hit on this fight. I get the fight's a little bit confused, but I'm pretty sure this is the one with the death hit, as well as a damage threshold on the enemy side of the field. And the perfect way to get around that is the dual legend Bato and Cavendish. With level limit break investment, they do remove 6 turns of damage threshold, which is what occurs after level 31. And also, they provide a really good attack boost for your driven characters, and they also provide the ability of a mass amount of damage reduction. So it tanks the death hit, gets rid of the threshold, provides an attack boost. It's just like a perfect unit for this quest. So if you have them, especially with maximum investments, definitely makes things a lot easier. Moving on, this is my personal team that I'm using at the current point in time to take on the strength fight. This should last a pretty good amount of time, all things considered. Like, realistically, I should be trying to build with the friend captain of the boosted units, whether it be the VV Wapple or the Big News Morgans or whatever. But you know what? This is what I'm going to be using. And once again, Bato Cavendish, very powerful unit. We're going to be abusing the Big Mom and Katakuri, of course, to deal with this switching mechanic. And using Big Mom and Katakuri is just kind of like what they want you to do here, to abuse those mechanics. We're using Cross Guild as well, because it's just like a unit that we can use that boosts everyone on the team. So if Big Mom isn't the captain at any point, we can just have them up instead. Smoothie's really good, removes attack down and stuff. Chain Boundary, just super good stuff. Because we do have the double Big Mom captains, when we activate the special ability of Smoothie, it does trigger the additional effect of Big Mom and Katakuri's captain effect, which like double buffs, I think it's affinity and chain buffs. So that actually works out incredibly well. So it makes the chain boundary that Smoothie gives like actually way higher than it normally is. So shout out to the Big Mom captain ability for that one. Typically, you're not going to see that too often, but hey, in this scenario, it actually does work out quite well. We also have the Doflamingo and Sugar, because it does give us a very good color affinity boost, and it does remove enemy barriers. That's literally why they're there, is because it's just a unit that gives color affinity and barrier, so you can just go ahead and just remove it and put a character in that just removes the barrier. That's the sole reason they're there, but it's just an added bonus that they grant a color affinity boost, I believe. Realistically, it doesn't really matter, but, you do see that I do have the support that does grant a color affinity boost. So, it is what it is. The set target status of Buggy Crew of the Cross Guild, phenomenal. So our Driven and our Slasher characters just do double damage against it, because why not? One of the best characters this year, honestly. I love it. Cross Guild so goddamn much. Moving on to the secondary fight is going to be the versus quick variation. Once again, we're going to be using versus, not the versus, should I say, Katakuri and Big Mom as our friend captain. And the interesting thing about this fight is that you actually want to have a quick captain when you enter the final stage. If you choose not to do that, the enemy will, instead of despairing you, will inflict silence debuff. Now, this is not special bind. This is the silence which disables the ability to swipe up or swipe down on a character, meaning you can't use your switch effects, you can't use your EX supers or your super types, you can't use your special abilities, you can't do anything. So you want to make sure you have a quick captain when you enter the final stage. Of course, if you have Big Mom and Katakuri, you can have, you know, your Big Mom Katakuri as your captain, being in the Big Mom form, who's a quick character, and then you enter the final boss stage, you get dealt all of the preemptive attacks, and then you can switch that character out for something else. So that's what they want you to do. Very, very absurd kind of design, but you know, it's basically shoehorning in the fact that you need a quick captain. Now, this is like the quote-unquote accessible team here. So we're using Brook to just generate some matching slots for the crew here. We also have the special ability of Zora, which does generate a pretty solid chain bonus for the crew. And then we can move on pretty comfortably after that. And then on the final boss stage, we do have the Rakuyo, Namule, and Blenheim character, which does remove the enemy's % damage reduction, and it also grants like an added bonus, so whenever we activate an attack boost, it will actually get a slight buff, which is exactly what Kaku does. Kaku's also here because it removes attack down, and then the rest of the characters like Big Mom Katakuri providing an orb boost, Magellan providing the effect of a color affinity boost, and overall, like it's a pretty decent accessible team. And then having a look at my own personal team up against this fight, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but utilizing Big Mom and Katakuri is kind of what they want you to do, because we can have Big Mom when we enter the final boss stage, and then we can switch the Big Mom out for Katakuri to get the type advantage, so it just works out pretty well. We're using the same combination again with Smoothie, because when we activate Smoothie's special ability, having both Katakuri Big Mom captains means that Smoothie's chain buff will be double buffed. It's actually a really, really cool effect. We're using Blackbeard as our dedicated attack booster for our powerhouse units here, and he also gives a pretty solid base attack boost, which is just super solid overall. And then his versus effect as well, if you would get it to activate, does grant a chain buff and stuff like that. We also have S-Snake. S-Snake is 100% not required. It's just a dex unit that also happens to be powerhouse, so it's kind of the only reason why they're there. I believe S-Snake is also like a boosted character in the event because it's a KIZUNA legend, so I believe the character does receive double bonus stats, but do correct me if I'm wrong about that. And then the final character is just the Shanks and Ben Beckman, because once again, it's a dex unit, it's a powerhouse unit, and it does get the bonus statistics, but also the fact that their special ability does remove the paralysis on the crew, which is just pretty nice added bonus effect there. So again, you know, Big Mom Katakuri is kind of like the really nice character to have here once again, because, you know, the enemy does have the effect where they take less damage from certain types of slots, and similar slots are basically avoiding that altogether. So really nice team, fun team to use, of course, and does a ton of damage. Now, the final clip of this video, we're only having one team for the versus dex variation, because I feel like a lot of teams are just going to be somewhat similar to this. So the character, like, you pretty much just run this team. Of course, if you want to use the friend captain of the boosted units, you would run a different team overall. But, of course, not a lot of people will have Roger, or not a lot of people will have the Momo. So those are the two characters that you would switch out. But the rest of the characters, like Kawamatsu, I feel like he's a pretty old rare recruit at this point. Most people should have him. Vivi is an older legend as well. Doesn't have a super evolution yet, mind you, so it'd be really cool to see a Summer Vivi super evolution in the future. And then the free-to-play Whitebeard, which came out towards the start of the year. All these characters are very, very good for this. So instead of Roger, you just run like any other like character that just gives you bonus damage, really. And then the Momo is basically here, which deals with the special reverse, and I believe it also deals with the despair as well. So that's the only real replacement that I feel like a lot of people may struggle to find. So again, you could just have a captain that removes despair. That could also work as well. So there's not even any despair for this one. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Like, Momo's literally here just for the cooldown reduction, and also it does give like chain related buffs, but that's kind of like whatever, right? But anyways, that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Good luck on your KIZUNA grind. I know it's not going to be fun, but hey, you know, hopefully things go your way. Hopefully you get good luck on your KIZUNA exchange tickets. But hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.